In the last video, we explored chapters 1, 2, and 3 of Thinking Fast and Slow. We discovered that our brain works with two systems, one that's fast, instinctive, and automatic, and another that's slow, logical, and deliberate. We saw how sometimes these two systems cooperate beautifully, and sometimes they crash into each other and trick us badly. But now it's time to take the next step. Let's dive into chapter 4. Where Daniel Kahneman tackles something that basically defines our lives, our choices. Chapter 4. Choices and Prospect Theory. Think about it. Every single day we're making choices. From the little ones, like what shirt to wear or whether to grab a bag of chips, to the big ones. Which career to choose, who to marry, whether to move to another city. But behind every choice, there's this hidden machinery in our brain. For years, economists thought humans were rational calculators. We weigh the pros and cons, we compare options, and we choose the best. Sounds neat, right? Well, Kahneman blows that idea apart. Because in reality, we're not rational robots. We're emotional creatures, and often, our decisions are shaped way more by fear, bias, and gut feeling than by cold, hard logic. This is where Kahneman introduces his famous prospect theory. The key idea is this. When there's a potential gain, people usually play it safe. They avoid risks and go for the secure win, even if the risky option might give them more. But when there's a potential loss, suddenly people flip. They become risk takers, willing to gamble big just to avoid feeling the sting of losing. Here's a simple example, and that is Option A. You're guaranteed to win $40. Option B. You've got a 50% chance to win $100. Most people go with Option A. Safe, predictable, done. Now flip it around. Option A. You're guaranteed to lose $40. Option B. You've got a 50% chance to lose $100. Suddenly, most people take the risk. Why? Because losing hurts. It hurts so much that we'd rather gamble than accept a sure loss. Kahneman sums it up in a powerful line. Losses loom larger than gains. In other words, the pain of losing $100 is about twice as powerful as the joy of gaining $100. Now think about your own life. How many times have you made a risky decision just because you didn't want to lock in a loss? Maybe you held on to a stock even though every signal screamed sell. Maybe you stayed in a relationship long past its expiration date just because admitting defeat felt too painful. That's prospect theory in action. A story to bring it home. Let me paint you a little picture. Imagine two guys, Ali and Reza. Ali invests and makes $100. Reza invests, makes $200, but then loses $100. Who's happier? You'd think Reza, right? After all, he's still up $100 overall. But no, Ali is the happy one. Reza feels miserable because his brain is stuck replaying that loss of $100, even though he's still in the green. And that shows us something important. Our happiness and satisfaction don't just come from outcomes. They come from how we frame those outcomes. What we gained, what we lost, and who we compare ourselves to. Chapter 5. Risk and Real-Life Decisions. Now let's move into Chapter 5, where Kahneman turns up the heat. Here, he talks about real-life risk, decisions where more than just money is on the line. Yet, picture this. You're facing surgery. The doctor tells you, Option A, there's a 90% chance you'll survive. Option B, there's a 10% chance you'll die. Which would you choose? Most people go for Option A, even though both options say the exact same thing. This is called the framing effect. Our decisions can completely change just based on how information is presented. Now think about marketing. How often have you seen an ad that says, 90% of our customers are satisfied? That feels reassuring, right? But what if it said, 10% of our customers are unhappy? Suddenly you hesitate. Same fact, different frame, completely different reaction. That's the kind of trick our brain plays on us all the time. A quick pause to catch our breath. Let's take stock for a second. What have we learned so far? We're not always rational when we make choices. We fear losses much more than we value gains. And the way information is framed can completely steer our decisions. Sounds simple, but these insights shake the very foundation of economics, psychology, and even our daily lives. Wrapping it up with a punch. So here's the takeaway. We like to think we're in control of our choices, guided by reason and logic. But often, it's our brain's quirks, our fear of loss, our bias toward risk, the way things are framed that quietly steer the wheel. Here. The good news? Once we know this, we can fight back. We can stop, take a breath, and say, wait a second. Am I choosing this because it's actually best for me or because my brain is scared of losing? That one pause, that single moment of awareness, might be enough to change the course of your life. So the next time you're standing at a crossroads, remember, maybe the problem isn't your choice. Maybe the problem is the frame you're looking through.